Hi, this is Shadi. Today we're going to be looking at Japanese freestyle wrestling, and it is something sublime. Many elements in common with judo. Of course, it is grappling, it is the human body, and we're going to see some very nice things that I did not expect to see in this DVD. Of course, it is a long DVD. I'm not going to go through the entire thing. I will leave it if you want to watch it below, but I will go through some things that really caught my attention, not just what we usually see with wrestling, like fireman's carry, double leg takedowns, although we're going to be looking at them, but with some things in common with judo that personally I did not expect. Very technical, uses leverage and movement in order to unsettle and unbalance the opponent. It is something truly interesting to watch. But of course, before we do that, please don't forget to check out my book, The Origins and History of Judo, a translation of the manuscript by Uchida Ryohei from 1903, available in French, English, both bilingual in Japanese. Links below. So, first let's take a look at the various forms of the double leg takedown. And here you can see these are some uchikomi ways or drills to do this. So you can either go dive into the ground or you can pick up. These are considered two different techniques in judo. Nonetheless, the entry is somewhat the same. So these are some really good drills for you to do on one knee and then explode up. So here we can see this is morote gari, reaping with both hands. And as you can see, there is no lift. You just collect the legs and then go forward. Or if they sprawl, you can take their momentum and then put them on their belly. So you can proceed to gut wrench, as they call it in wrestling. Different rule set, of course. So morote gari is an old lost technique of judo, this year making its way only in Japan. But as you can see here, you can avoid all forms of gripping and go into it. The rules of this year are only by combinations, so you would have a good posture and then engage in the gripping. So as you can see, you don't pick up your opponent, you just dive deep and then collect the legs, and then with your chest you push forward while pulling with your arms. Here you can use it, of course, in combination with other forward throws like shoulder throw here. And then as they brace themselves backward to protect themselves, that's where you use their instinct against them, and you can end up with something like this. So as you can see, it is a very versatile throw or takedown, and you can see it in many disciplines. So this one here is a pickup. So you're not ripping them down, you're picking them up and slamming them. So technically it's a scooping throw or a sukui nage. So here you can see Kate Howie of Great Britain picking up her opponent and then slamming her down. Kodokan said that this might look like morote gari, but this is a sukui nage because of the massive pickup and then the slam afterwards. Sukui nage is usually done with one arm on the leg while the other on the upper body, but here it is not the case. Here this is kata guruma. It might look like a double leg takedown, but they are being thrown on the axis of the shoulder, but it is perpendicular. So usually kata guruma is performed this way. As you can see, it is on the axis of the shoulders. From shoulder to shoulder they are wheeled over. However, there is a way where you can use the perpendicular axis of the shoulder and then do it like this. Now this may not be a variation that is often used, but Kodokan mentions that there is a form that was present in old Jiu-Jitsu, and as you can see, in order to fall safely you need to wrap your arms around them and then do an ukemi fall. Now let's take a look at some defense, and this is arguably my favorite part of the entire DVD how you counter. It's not just sprawling like a lot of people think, or do a Tawara Gaishi, but there is things that I simply did not expect, and let's take a look at them together. So of course the first form of defending this is to sprawl. It is to push your hips down, forward and down, and then exert pressure on your opponent's back of the head, and of course make their arms too long for them to collect anything. Here is another defense where you put your shin on the outside of their thigh, which makes it very difficult for them to really proceed with the attack. Now this one here is an uchimata as a defense to a single leg takedown, and as you can see, you can do it from a low position or from standing up. And here you see, even if you are on your knees, you can do it. And of course, an o uchigari, or a major inner reap, is also used, because uchimata and o uchigari are interchangeable in terms of direction. Here is Satoshi Ishii with Fanatics explaining defense by dislodging your opponent's arms, and then from there you hook the shoulder and proceed to reap the thigh from the inside, and that's how you can counter such a takedown. So it's not just your regular sprawl as a lot of people would think, but you have something like this, an inner thigh reap. And you see here he's explaining how you dislodge the arm by pushing on the shoulder downwards, and then from there you proceed to reap away the thigh from the inside, and you need to make sure you are close enough for it to work, and you pull the arm away and then you rotate to create momentum. So here it's a scissors takedown, a kani basami. Of course in judo it is very dangerous due to how you hang from someone to the side holding their jacket. Of course here is also somewhat the same. Of course there is the sumi gaishi defense, very organic. A lot of people tend to use it because they like to hold on to the upper body of their opponent and then from there proceed. Of course Tawara Gaishi as well. Here the great Masahiko Kimura demonstrates an ude garami grip as a defense to the single leg, and then following it with a sumi gaishi into an arm lock, his famous arm lock. He was so efficient in it that now we call it after him. So as you can see, it's very, the Japanese, I don't know about Western style, but here for example you can see a sankaku gatame as a form of a pin. Here you can see a counter to a low single where you can, triangle the head and the arm and turn them over and winning over by a pin. Similar to judo, from the same position, someone on all fours where you can hook from the side. It's very similar to Daria's triangle. It's coming from the side, not from the front, and from it she goes. But here the turnover is very interesting. You can see the head and the arm. I did not expect to see this in wrestling personally. Now here you can see you go into the triangle choke and then you get up. Now technically the Kodokan calls this a variation of Kuzure Kami Shiho Gatame. It is not a Sankaku Gatame. Sankaku Gatame is technically an arm lock in the judo arsenal, but here if it were to be used as a pin, it's technically a variation of Kuzure Kami Shiho Gatame, even though you are holding them in a triangle, which is interesting to learn nonetheless. So it's interchangeable with the arm lock and the strangle and the pin as well. So triangle to me is a position, it is not a specific technique. So I hope you enjoyed this, and don't forget to check out the links for the book below. Check out my Patreon, or if you're interested of becoming a member to this channel for exclusive content. And of course the Japanese DVD will be linked below as well if you want to watch it fully. This was Shadi, and thank you for listening.